Welcome to SundaySundae. Hope everybody's doing great. Had a great, fantastic week. Today, let's play a little round robin. I have a question for each of my friends today. What is the best piece of advice that you've got from your family or your friends or your therapist? How about you, Erin?
So I was kind of thinking about one piece of advice that always sticks with me that my mom would say constantly to me when I was growing up was, what other people think of you is none of your business. And so not overly worrying about, others' opinions of you as long as you're happy with yourself. And so I think in my older years, it resonates with me a lot more because that's something I've struggled with and throughout life, being a people pleaser and, worrying way too much about what, choices I was making in my life and making choices based on what I thought I should do or what, was acceptable in the world. We talked about success, and I think in another episode, what our societal ideas are of success. This stage of my life right now that really resonates with me of like, I don't really care what you think as long as I'm happy with myself.
Mhm.
So
That's a powerful
that's been a
advice,
journey.
Erin. Was it hard to actually put that into practice?
Very much so. Hindsight's always 2020, right? There's another quote I think from I think it's attributed to Teddy Roosevelt, but it's comparison is the thievery of all joy.
Mm,
And it relates to that too, where we can, get into, just comparing ourselves to others and, setting our measures of ourselves based on what, you know, those societal expectations or comparisons. Those are the two that stand out in my mind right now.
that's a great advice. Coming from India, where everybody wants to give you an advice. They are a doctor, they are your cheap therapist, they are your friends. They just have advice and answers and solutions for all your problem. The one that stands out for me is trust your inner compass more than the outside validation.
Hmm.
And my mother would all the time use that. She's like, why do you need an outside validation? I'm like, that's how I grew up. I still need it. I need validation in relationship. I need validation in when it comes to my health goals. I need validation when I'm talking to friends or communicating, or if I want to change my career. So I do bank on outside validation, and I really want to work on myself where I actually believe myself more than outside validation. Paula, what do you have to say for that?
Think what Erin just shared about what other people think of you is none of your business. I think that's a great piece of advice. But I also see, falling into that trap of wanting validation. We can't get away from our ego as much as we try, or as much as I try. That ego is still there. The part of us that wants that validation is our ego. But the first piece of advice, and to me, it's pretty similar to what Erin shared. It wasn't directly from my daughter. I'm sure a lot of schools do this when you're a senior and you have your senior picture in the yearbook. And then at her school, they had a quote, like their senior quote. I'm sure other schools
Yeah.
do something similar. So her quote was, "Don't take yourself so seriously. Nobody else does."
Nice.
When you said, what's the best piece of advice? That's what came to mind for me. A couple of things come up, but that's the first one because I do tend to take myself pretty seriously. I was even thinking like last weekend when we were all together and Erin didn't have her mic, and I immediately, go into like planning and fixing and taking care of things because everything is serious and it has to be fixed and I have to be the one to fix it. I take my life pretty seriously. And sometimes it doesn't serve me because if anybody's going to get an ulcer in this group, it's probably going to be me.
You saved the day last weekend. You did.
And we got the mic anyway. I mean, the mic was already on its way.
Yes.
But that's just my tendency, unfortunately. But I think that comes from having been a caretaker. Thank you. From pretty early on in my life. You know, life was just serious business and it needed to be handled, and it might as well be me. So that's one thing that comes to mind. As we've been doing this podcast and you guys hear me talk about Kathy Heller a lot. She's just a sage. She's got a lot of wonderful advice. And in her book, she talked about her journey to Jerusalem when she was I think she was maybe 19 or 20 when she spent a couple of years studying with a rabbi. And her rabbi shared a lot of wisdom with her, and some of the things that just really spoke to me is she talked about, of course, I mean, who are you not to be like masterful? You are a piece of the master. And then she also said, or the rabbi shared with her, so she's sharing her rabbi's quotes, that, you know, we are all someone because we are some of the one. And again, those quotes are Kathy Heller's, they're not mine. But gosh, those words just really, really spoke to me, because like, who are we not to live joyful, happy, glorious, productive, contributive lives when we think about what our origins truly are. So those are the things that I've been thinking about and contemplating. And when I get stuck, I try to think back on those pieces of advice from Kathy and from my daughter to chill out a little bit.
I love how each piece of advice has its own flavor, you know, almost like a little therapy or a toolkit that we are building for each other. What about you, my savvy scoop? I need some spicy advice from you.
Well, first off, Paula, when you shared those quotes, it was like a whole new light bulb went off in my head the first time I heard it when we went to Pagosa. We got in the water, but you had shared those, and it was just like, wow, I never really thought about being the master. What does that really mean? You know, when you really think of that, or when you really think about that you are something because you are part of the one that gives us life. That's something, that's someone. It just opens up a whole nother level. I guess to the connection. For me, it's Christ. And so it just opens up a whole nother level for that for me. So I just thank you for sharing. What's her name? Kathy, Miss Kathy's quote, because we loved that quote on that trip. My advice is the greatest advice that I ever got was from my grandmother on my father's side. She had said that we were no longer authoritators in our children's lives. We're no longer authoritators, but now we're advisors. And so we advise them. They make their own decisions. They don't want our advice in certain times, but we're just there to advise them at this point when they become old enough. And so that really hit home because my son, I was losing control of him. And I was like, Lord, I just don't know what to do. And so, in talking to my grandmother, she has shared a story about my uncle. And I really took that to heart. And it helped me to really place my children where they needed to be placed in this new dispensation of time, in this new season in life. Where are you guys placed? Like at this point, I'm not making decisions for you. You are actually living and making these decisions. I'm only here to advise you.
That's really good.
That's a beautiful advice. What about you, Lina?
So for me, I've got a couple. I feel like I've been really blessed with people that are wise and that give advice very simply. But the first one that came to mind and what has been the best advice I've ever received is from my oldest son. He has always been very in tune with my feelings. If I'm feeling stressed out, if I'm sad, if I'm overwhelmed. Like at a very young age, he was the one that would come up and be like, "Mom, do you need a hug?" Like just out of nowhere, just feel where my heart was or where my energy was or where my mind was. And I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but I will always remember I was really stressed out. I was feeling really worried. And he said to me, and he was young. I mean, he had to have been maybe 11 or 12 years old. And he said, "Mom, do you know that it says don't worry 365 times in the Bible? So that means that for every single day, you don't have to worry. You can not worry about at least one thing every single day for the whole year." And I was like, wow. I'm like, son, that I feel better. And, and it's interesting because my mom has always given me that kind of advice as well. But for some reason, when I heard it from my son, putting it into words that were taught to him in school because, they went to Catholic school. And so everything was biblical and they learned these things about how to live our lives in a way that are from our maker's words, right? But my mom has always said, hay que dejarle un poquito a Dios. You have to leave a little bit to God. And so, don't worry. So, yeah, I'm still working on not worrying, but it is good advice.
That's a beautiful advice. I went to see the movie Superman yesterday, and when Superman is sitting with his father, I really like how his father actually said, it's not about the choices that you make, but what actions you take to kind of fix the wrong choices you made. That was such a good advice. I really liked it.
Oh, that reminds me of another great piece of advice. Carolina, Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Do you want to say it?
yeah. It's not about, shoot.
What is it? It's about the gist of it is it's about what you believe.
And I believe
And
in
I
love.
believe in love. That was so good.
Yeah,
Did you guys see that movie?
I think it is. It's not about what you do. It's about what you believe. And I believe in love. It was great. It was the first Wonder Woman movie. And yeah. It was very, very good advice.
You were all about it when it
I
came out.
loved it. I couldn't stop talking about it. And I watched it. I went to see it in the theaters like 6 times. I was not that impressed with the second one, but the first one I absolutely loved. I think Gal Gadot was just like the perfect actor for that movie. She just was so powerful and so strong and beautiful. So I have one more. In high school, I had a good friend. I was a junior, she was a senior, and we would always just kind of like banter. And, in high school, or at least I pretended to have like a really strong outer shell and like that nothing bothered me. And I tried to come across as like super confident and, just that I had it all together. But my friend Lisa, she saw right through me. There was one day, I don't know, she was giving me a compliment about something. I don't know if it was like my hair or my outfit or something. And I, of course, just went on to be like, oh, stop, shut up. I look terrible. I look fat, or I don't like my hair. And she was like, Carolina, just say thank you. And I was like, yeah, when somebody gives you a compliment, like you don't have to say, oh, yeah, your hair looks nice too, or like give a compliment back, like, or talk badly about yourself, but just say thank you. Just say thank you.
That reminds me of that book that we've all been talking about, The Empowered Wife. There's that's a topic in there about the essence of femininity is receivership, being able to receive, which is so hard for a lot of it. Cause I do the same thing, somebody's, gives you a compliment. And my first reaction is like, oh, like,
You're just
or,
being nice.
you have a nice top on or something. Oh, I got it on discount or like, some kind of you
To
know, not
dismiss
just
it
thinking.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
Mhm.
Savvy, you have something to share, don't you?
Well, it's funny that you guys are talking about that because I wanted to say something to Erin's advice. It made me think of this book that I read called The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz.
Yes.
And so, in thinking about that book, the perceptions of everyone else is something that so many people are looking for, but everyone's broken. So it's hard to receive things from people. For me, it's kind of hard to receive from people because I've adopted that mindset of, I guess, not really. I accept people's thought process. I accept how they may feel in that moment, but because it can change so quickly on their perception of me in a matter of seconds, I really am just not someone who receives them. So I receive them and I'm grateful that people give them. Thank you for thinking of me. But as quickly as life can happen, people can change their perceptions and then I become an enemy. So I guess I wanted to say that to your first your first comment of advice from, was it your mom? I'm sorry.
Yeah, for my mom. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what that made me think of, not really paying attention to people because people are so wishy-washy in their thinking, and one minute they love you, one minute they don't, and he really did speak about that, so I just wanted to say that about that, but I guess with the thank yous and stuff like that, I'm glad that people notice, but I really don't need them from them because I have my own thought process about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. What matters is how you see yourself, right?
Something else that came into my mind too, um, again, because I read Kathy's book, so sorry to keep talking about Kathy, but and I don't know if this was in her book or in one of her podcasts, but she talked about like we have this idea that life is supposed to be hard. Like where do we get that idea? Look at look at so many examples around us, the birds, the trees, just out there doing life every day. But we human beings have to wrap it up with perceptions and opinions and shoes and fashion and so many other things that aren't coming with us when we
Here
close
we
our eyes
go.
for the final
Mhm.
moment. And when I think about it too, a lot of our things go back to childhood, right? I think we grew up in an era, or at least I did, where life was work. Uh, and it wasn't okay to like be idle. It wasn't okay to go outside and enjoy just being a
Frolic.
kid. It wasn't okay to want to go out, but it was sort of frowned upon that if I wasn't being productive, if I wasn't doing something, I was being wasteful or being lazy. Um, so it kind of goes hand in hand for me with thinking that life is supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be work because that's how that's how I grew up. If I wasn't working hard and I wasn't doing something, then I was being lazy and that's not a a characteristic that you want to own. Um, so when I heard Kathy say that, something that I'm taking more to heart and trying to move away from this idea that things have to be difficult.
I very much can relate to that, Paula, as you know. So yeah, I mean the mindset of you work hard. I feel like I was geared in a direction of like, you gotta do well in school and then you go to the next step and then you go to the next step and you're working hard but you're always having to be productive and make your way and it's okay to, just need to enjoy your life along the way. And if you're one of the things right now that is so clear to me at this age is I think we're all here to find our purpose. Each of us have different gifts and talents, and our job is to figure out what those are inside of us and actually live it in the world. But we get geared in directions of like, well, you should go and do this career because, you'll make lots of money and you'll be successful and you'll be seen a certain way in society, but it may not resonate with what your true gifts and talents are, so we get off track in those ways. So I definitely have gone through that in my life for sure and had to reevaluate and re-examine what is it that truly makes my heart sing, what are those gifts that make my heart sing?
Mhm. I think all of us just operate out of fear, you know, from very
Mhm.
beginning. It's just instilled in all of us fear of rejection, Don't eat sugar, you'll put on weight. Hey, pay attention to your studies or you'll, fall behind. So I believe most of us just operate out of fear.
Or
Mm.
survival.
Yes,
Like we have to
survival.
do it a certain way in order to get ahead
Yeah.
because that's just what we're told. While we're
Hmm.
in school, you have to get the good grades. When you're married, you have to, keep your house in order in a certain way, and everything is just a perception. And we forget that perception is not reality, right? Reality is what's real. It's not what's perceived. But there's so many distractions to sway us away from what brings us joy or what makes us feel like we're moving towards something that is great or what God wants for us or what Creator wants for our lives because we all have a purpose. And like Erin was saying, we're all trying to find our purpose, but it's already there. We just have to try to stay on that path. But, it doesn't have to be hard. I think we just get in our own way sometimes.
Hmm. That reminds me, I know in your Sunday today, Carolina, you talked about the homily that you heard at church. And the homily that we heard today was a little bit different. It's the story of there's a flood coming, right? And so there's a man and he's like, oh, I'm not worried. God will take care of me. But there's like an announcement, there's a flood. You got to evacuate. It's good. I'm good. God will take care of me. So he stays at home and the village is evacuating and like, let's just say like the fire department comes. No, sir, got to get out. We're flooding. We're evacuating the town. And he's like, I'm good. God will take care of me. Now the water's like up to roof level and I'm good. God's going to take care of me. And somebody comes rowing on a boat. Come on, hop in the boat. Let's go. Town's flooded. No, I'm good. God will take care of me. And so he drowns and he gets up to heaven and he's like, God, why did you abandon me? And God's like,
I
I
sent the
sent you a
firemen.
warning. I sent you the fire department.
I
I
sent
sent
you
you
the
the
guy in the
boat.
boat. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be hard. Like it's like
Mhm.
the answers are all around us. You just gotta open up, open your
Mm-hmm.
eyes.
Yeah.
I have one more thing, but I don't want to keep manipulating the conversation. Does anybody
No,
have
go
an?
ahead.
All right. So many years ago, and maybe at some point, we'll delve more into our intimate relationships. My husband and I struggled in our relationship for a long time, and we separated. We never divorced, but we did spend about 5 years living apart. I was meeting with a leader in faith, just talking about life, and I said to her, "Sometimes I just wonder what I'm doing here in New Mexico." My husband and I are separated. My sister's kids are in Colorado. My sister's in Colorado. My dad at that time had some health issues. I'm like, I'm just really wondering, what am I doing here? Why did life bring me here? Like, what's the point? I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to move back to Colorado. And she looked at me and she's like, you didn't come to New Mexico for any reason other than your mission. You are in New Mexico for your mission. And I appreciated hearing that so much because sometimes you just, again, it's that boat, right? It's the fire department. Here's the boat. Here's this woman telling me, don't worry about all that other stuff. There's a reason that you are in this time in your life, whether it's, struggling with the marriage, watching parents battle illness from afar, watching kids that you love growing up, missing friends, missing all of you. There's a purpose behind that. And it really, it lightens my load so much to hear those words. And I don't know yet exactly what the mission is, but But I trust it. I trust that there's a reason why life, God, me in the place that I am today. So when things get tough as they do, I think about that there's definitely a why to whatever's happening. And I'm not a big fan of the whole idea of things happen for a reason. That doesn't ever sit well with me. However, I think that do believe that there's always something to be learned from whatever the situation is.
Things
That is,
happen
and
with reason.
that's a way to think about it.
With reason, not for a reason.
Do you ever think that you actually will know what the mission is? I mean, like some people never actually get to see the fulfillment of a mission as they're
Yeah.
actually living out the mission. We're looking for a mission, but we're actually living on that mission already.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even notice it. I pray to the Lord all the time. I tell him, I say, Lord, I want to be the old lady sitting in the rocking chair on the porch and everybody comes and talks to me. But I realize everybody doing that now. Like people, like people come and they sit with me, they sup with me, as if I'm living out a mission right now. I haven't seen the end of it. I don't know what it looks like, but I feel like I'm already walking on that mission.
That's awesome.
It's present. It's in the present. Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, also something that I heard in faith was, life is climbing up that mountain, right? We climb up the mountain every day. We're climbing up the mountain. Almost there. We're almost there. Here's the peak. It's getting to the peak. Oh my gosh, I'm at the peak. And so you're up there, look around, loving the view, and then you look a little further, and what do you see?
Another peak.
More mountains to climb.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're right. The mission is every day. Every day is the mission.
That's an
Tanisha,
irony.
you're like
Mm-hmm.
walking.
I've
Sorry.
got one more, and this from my dad. Is no matter where you go, there you are.
Mhm.
You can, it sounds so simplistic and, ridiculous actually. But it's actually pretty deep when you think about it, because you can search high and low for, advice, and sometimes even like therapy situations can be like that if it's not the right fit for someone, where we're seeking all these answers. And sometimes other people can be very helpful in those situations, and sometimes the answers are within you, and it's a matter of finding that, and paying attention to what's inside of you and sitting with it. You can go elsewhere and run from your problems, but no matter where you go, there you are.
That's right.
So, if any of our listeners is going through a tough time, please listen. This too shall pass. Nothing is permanent in life. Keep moving forward. Do not stop.
Okay, I have to share one more because what you just said just reminded me of another great piece of advice that comes from a Buddhist reading, and I'm totally paraphrasing, but there has never ever been a time where and I'm going to screw it up, where spring did not come. There's never been a time where we went backwards and winter became fall. It's what you said, this too shall pass. Spring is always coming. There's a line too, that's always darkest before the dawn or something like that. So yes, absolutely. And there's never been a time where spring did not come. Tanisha.
I love how you can, like if you look back, there's a song. It says, "When I look back over my life." It's an old, gospel song or whatever. But when you do look back, you really look back and you're like, wow, that really wasn't that bad. And I actually accomplished that thing. Like I actually got, like think about labor. It was bad, right? But after it's all said and done, I mean, you're looking at that baby in your arms and you're like, wow, I got through that. Like I really got through a really, really difficult, that's like death, dude. And so like when you look at that, you look back and you're like, wow, I have really mastered a lot of things and really have gotten to a place and it doesn't look so hard after you go back and look. Like it felt rough. Don't get it twisted. When you pushing out a baby, that's rough. But after it's all said and done and you really got through it, you really look back and you're like, wow, I did this. I got through that. I can get through some other things. I can see over the bridge. I can make it, And so that's the really important thing to look at, because we do all go through things in life. And in that moment, it does seem rough, tough, and, can't get over it. But when you do, when you push, when you motivate yourself, and sometimes you don't even have the motivation to do it. But when you do get through that thing, you really do look back and you say to yourself, wow, encourage people to definitely think about that, life is definitely something worth living for, something worth striving to the next step, even getting over that next mountain. It's always after a challenge that you do feel like you've accomplished something. It feels like you've actually done something great. And so that comes with those struggles.
I think that's such an important thing that we have to remember, is that those hard times, it's like building muscle, right? Like you have to lift heavier weights to build the muscle. So Carolina, you talked about, fear, or was it Meenu? Somebody talked about fear. If we stay stuck in that, if we don't take that step into what's uncomfortable, we'll never know. Never know how courageous we can be, never know how strong we can be, never know what lies on the other side of that fear. If we're too comfortable,
take that leap of faith.
Too comfortable sometimes to say the hard thing, ask for the raise, sit down with our child and have a hard conversation, sit down with our spouse and say, I need XYZ, because it's so much easier to be comfortable, to not push beyond that level of discomfort and make those muscles grow. But gosh, once you're on the other side of that, you're like, wow, I can do hard things. Thank you, Rachel Hollis.
I can twerk better. I can twerk real good.
I don't know. The twerking is really hard for me.
One day.
You don't need me to twerk. We've got Tanisha.
You've got me for that.
Anybody else, ladies? Anything else that popped into your heads while we were chatting the last 30 minutes?
No, but I just love y'all. I just love y'all. Can I say that? Can I just say that all of you guys,
too.
Like as soon as one person talks, it's like, oh my God, I got to comment, because what she just said something to me. And listening to you guys in your advices, they definitely resonate in each one of our lives. Like each part of the advice that we are looking at. Like some of us are going through things with children. Some of us are going through things with even self-esteem and being able to love ourselves alone by ourselves. We don't need somebody else tell us that they love us. No, boo, I love myself. I'm beautiful every day. I woke up this morning and by golly gee willikers, I have a chance to shine bright today. And I don't need your energy to help me do that, because it was put on the inside of me. That kind of advice just stimulates something on the inside. I don't know about y'all. For me, it does. So I love y'all.
Yeah, it's not easy to be your cheap therapist.
Absolutely. Totally echo that. Love all of you. We're so lucky, so blessed to have the circle of friendship. And we forgot to say, Shannon has been a little under the weather, so that's why she isn't scooping with us today. So thank you guys for sharing your words of wisdom. And everybody out there listening, we appreciate you tuning in to Sunday Sunday. We'll be back in a week.
Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and post your advices too.
Thank you for sharing some of your Sunday with us, and we will see you next week for some more scoops.
Happy Sunday, Sunday.
Happy Sunday,
Happy
Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday.